What's up, y'all? Listen, I know that this episode is almost a week old, lady. It's been a rough. Y'all know it's been a busy week. Y'all know I've been doing a lot. I was behind, and I'm trying to get caught up. Um, After we do this, we're gonna do a quick tribe meeting. The tribe meeting ain't gonna be a long one today. I always say that, but it's not. It's not gonna be a long one today. Um, and then after we do that, if I have enough energy, we might do Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tonight. Y'all know it's a new episode tonight. Coming in after the holiday. Maybe if I have the energy. If I have the energy. Okay. Y'all know I'm going out of town tomorrow after work. So I have stuff I gotta do around here. I gotta wash it, make sure my dishes are washed, make sure that I'm packed, so that's a good thing. I just got to double check and make sure everything is in there that I want in there. The trash goes out today. So I got a lot of stuff I have to do around my house. So with that being said, and I literally just got home, like I just walked in the door like 20 minutes ago. So with that being said, let's get into this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I know that people have been talking about it all week. And I think a lot of people have been focusing so much on the Maurice of it that we didn't really talk about the other things, which it wasn't really a lot more there. So let's get into it. So we start this episode off. We have Leticia, Tish, all these loves. Damn, what her name? Leticia. Golly, Leticia, Latrice, Leticia, all these Trish. Anyway, but we have her and Marsau, and they are down to the office. Now, let me say this. I don't know if people see, maybe it's me. Maybe I retain too much information when I hear these things and I process as they process, but this situation that Marsau is doing with Leticia's office space. So, and Marsau said this a long time ago. Marsau is going to take care of the projects that are paying him money first. The projects that he's doing for free, they're going to take a back burner. That's why it's taking so long for this house to get built. That's why it took so long for something else he was doing. And now Leticia, girl, Trish, Tish, why I can't remember which law she is. Anyway, your office is going to take a back burner. Number one, your office is going to take a back burner because in his mind, I don't think he feels like you even need it. Because if you've been working from home or you've been sharing an office space with him, I feel like in his mind, he's like, why you can't just keep doing what you've been doing? That's number one. Number two, as far as, remember, they had this conversation, Maurice and Kimmi had this conversation with Marsau last season or the season before last, and Marsau told them, look, y'all not paying me. I'm going to get to it when I get to it because I'm doing this as a labor of love. Like, y'all only paying me my out-of-pocket expense. Y'all are not paying me for a profit. So, yes, you're my brother. You're my sister-in-law. I love y'all, and I want to make sure I get this done for y'all. But if you want me to work and give y'all the same priority, then y'all gonna have to pay me with the same priority. And let's be clear, I'm not mad at him for that. See, I honestly think that some of us, we get so, Tisha, that's it. We get so caught up on trying to get a hookup and anybody who has ever worked with me will tell you, I will ask somebody to do something for me and I will tell them, what is your price? Because I'm going to pay you your price. When people have done intros for me and stuff like that, I always say to them, no. What do you charge? Don't do me no favor. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. I do. But I want it when I want it. I don't want you to come back later and say, oh, well, I had 10 orders in front of you. No, you didn't. Because I paid you the same amount of money that those people paid. So now if it's something that I don't need it in any type of timeline or anything, and you're doing me a favor, sure. But I have friends that DJ, and when Face drops down, y'all know that's my boy Face. Face is a DJ. Face has done jobs for me before, and I have never asked him for a discount. I have never asked him to do it for less than what he pays. I've never done that. I mean, what he charges. I have friends who do catering. I have friends who do all sorts of stuff. And when I call them for a quote, I want the real quote. Now, if they say, look, this is what I normally charge, but I'll do it for you for XYZ amount, I ain't saying I won't take it, but I don't ask for it. And if I want to be treated with the same fidelity that they treat their other customers, you got to pay for that. Y'all understand what I'm saying? As long as my hairdresser has been doing my hair, that woman's been doing my hair for years. Like over 10 years, that woman's been doing my hair. Now, do I get over in little ways? Like I could call her right now and be like, can I come in tomorrow? And she'll squeeze me in? Yeah. Do I get it? Have there been times when I needed her to do my hair on a Wednesday and I didn't get paid till Friday? And I was like, look, I have this event that I got to go to. Can I get my hair done and I will pay you on Friday? Yes, she's done stuff like that. And number one, I always pay her full amount and I tip her extra. So I'm listening to what Marsau is saying. And the other thing I don't like, y'all know I don't do passive aggressive. I don't like I really wish you would. I really wish I could see this kind of movement on my office space. I really wish. Oh, wow. It looks nice in here. I really wish my office space looked like this. I don't do the passive aggressive, Tisha. Don't do that. If you want to irritate me, hit me with the passive aggressive. Use your words. I tell that to my students. Use your words. If you feel like this is taking too long, then let's look at the budget and let's reevaluate the budget. And if you want me to expedite this situation, then expedite what you paying me. And I feel like that is what Marsau was saying to her. Marsau was saying to her, look, if you want me to move faster, then, because understand something, Marsau ain't doing this work himself. He's got a crew that he has to pay. So if you want this to be done faster, then let's move this along faster. I mean, SCK said, at one point they said she was managing some of their properties. I believe she is a major holder of sculpts. Well, at one point in time, they did say that, didn't they? They said that some of the property was in her name and that kind of thing. But that's why I don't understand why she needs a separate office. Why can't you keep doing what y'all been doing? Why not expand the office space? If you want more space, then expand the office space. But I don't understand why they need two separate properties. And again, I'm not in their business, so I don't know why. Maybe there's a legit reason and that makes sense to them. But I also feel like this how I feel. If he ain't moving fast enough for free, then pay somebody to move fast enough and just pay them what they charging. That's how I look. And again, yes, I love Marsau. Well, not love is a strong word. I do like Marsau, but I don't want to feel like I'm always just defending Marsau. But sometimes I disagree with him. I disagree with what he's saying. And what I heard him say was, I'm a little hurt that you feel like I'm putting you on the back burner for no reason. Now, is he putting her on the back burner? Yes, he is. But he was like, I'm hurt that you feel like I'm putting you on the back burner for no reason. Like there's a method to this madness. There's a reason why you're on the back burner right now. That's how I feel about it. But I could be wrong. Symmetry said, Tisha is the owner of Scope Realty and Company. She is a real estate broker. She showed last week that her office is done and Scott Manor is almost done. Yeah, Scott Manor. Yeah, I saw the house is almost done. And at the end of the day, did it take them longer to get the house built? Yeah, but they probably saved a lot of fucking money. I mean, it just is what it is. But her office is done. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And let's be clear, as a broker, we learned this. As a broker, she's on the upper echelon. You know, Tisha might get on my nerves when it comes to certain things, but I will never play her short. I will never play that woman short. She's got a master's degree. She Yeah, and that's the other problem. Carlos, you got to catch up. This stuff is so old that it's like dated. But anyway, moving right along. Then we see Maurice and Kimmi talk, and basically they're just talking about the fact that they're going to therapy. Kimmi is trying to talk to Maurice about what she needs from him. And honestly, y'all, I'm over it because I feel like Kimmi's been having this conversation with Maurice for 3 seasons, at least 3 seasons, because she's been having this conversation with him since before I stopped watching it, and I stopped and came back, and I came back last season. We're going to get deeper into that when they get to their therapy session, but in all reality, I just... I'll talk more about that when we get there, because I don't want to get off on that tangent. Let's get there. We'll get there. I'm really about to be on Maurice's side with a lot of this. Kimmi, why don't you ask all of that before marriage? Huh? I don't feel like... I feel like what Kimmi's asking for, she probably got. She's not getting it now. I feel like Maurice was doing all of the things that a man does to a woman to woo her, to get her where he wants her. I don't believe that Kimmi is asking for him to do something he's never done. I think that over time, he has stopped doing those things, but he still expects to get everything he got from Kimmi. But we're going to get to that. We'll get to that. Then we have Nell and we have Chris. Let me tell you something. I'm sick of her too, and I'm sick of him. Chris, you know your wife crazy as hell. And I understand happy wife, happy life. Like, I understand you want to defend your wife. You want to be on your wife's side. Like, I get all of that. But now you're throwing digs, which again is going to come back at the reunion, and people are going to come back and ask you about it. But now you're throwing digs as if you don't understand that your wife is sitting in your face and not telling you the whole truth, nothing but the truth. The way your wife talked about that girl's trip down to the wine tasting, I was like, what trip she talking about? What in the world is she talking about? Because you totally negated and sidestepped. Because even when she said, well, you know, I didn't put anything in my basket because I knew they was trying to set me up. I'm not stupid. Girl, nobody was trying to set you up. They didn't ask you to do anything different than what the rest of them did. Now, you could choose to be as deep as you wanted or as shallow as you wanted. But the fact that you chose not to participate at all and then want to make it seem like, yeah, because I knew what they was trying to do. I knew they were just trying to shut me up. They was just trying to set me up. Girl, nobody was trying to set you up. And you know, they was just trying to get me to talk about my sons and their business. I'm not talking about my son's business. Girl, who asked you about your son's business? Once again, Nell, between what was in the blogs and what you volunteered is all them women talked about. Nobody asked you to unveil or uncover anything different than what you were already putting out there and what you already said. You're just mad because you said more than what you were supposed to say, and either one of your sons popped your hand or Chris or Big Chris popped your hand, and now you trying to backpedal and pussy pop off of it because you said it and you shouldn't have said it, or you didn't mean to say it, or you didn't want to say it. But don't act like those women are crazy. You said y'all left the reunion because you became a grandmother and you didn't know nothing about that baby. Now, everybody assumed you were talking about Lance because Lance did end up having a child. And what we found out later was that you were talking about Chris. But now you act like those women are crazy for asking about it. Why are they crazy for asking about something you put out there? it was all over the blogs. It's not unrealistic to expect them to ask questions that's not in the blogs. Now, the one thing I will say that I do agree with her on is she said those women don't share anything about their life, yet they want me to share everything about my life. Now, to a certain extent, I agree with you on that one, Nell. But again, this is what I'm going to say. Ma'am, you volunteered a lot of that information. They just not volunteering. I mean, you the one that told us Chris had that Big Chris had an affair. You told us that. And it was in the blogs. So of course they was gonna ask you questions. They just listen, Kimmi and Tisha are veterans at this, and they have found a way to sidestep what they don't want to talk about or give you as little or as much as they choose to share. They didn't address that video. Now, people may not be satisfied with what they chose to share about that video, but they done already told us that Kimmi said she didn't watch it. Now, do I believe Kimmi didn't watch it? No. Tisha said she watched a little bit of it, but she don't believe it. It was a mess. It was this, it was that, and she moved on. Now, do I believe that Kimmi and Tisha didn't watch it? No, I absolutely believe they watched it. But by them saying they didn't watch the video, well, now it's nothing else to ask. Because what you gonna ask me? I just told you I didn't watch the damn video. Regardless of whether you think I'm lying or not, once I tell you I didn't see something, well, it limits the amount of questions you can ask me because I told you I didn't see it. Now, you can choose to tell me, oh, you didn't see it? Well, girl, let me tell you what happened. And then I say, look, I didn't watch it for a reason. I believe my husband, that woman is the Lulu. Martell and his coleslaw was on some bullshit, and I'm not entertaining it. To be fair, Nell was brought into the group by someone else. Of course, they wouldn't start sharing their life with Nell. You have to gain trust. I mean, yeah, listen. I understand Nell's frustration and feeling like, hey, I have told them these women my business and they won't share with me anything, right? I get that. Now, what I did not like, and it was very, and listen, mellometers, I don't want to hear it. When I say what I'm about to say, I don't want to hear it. But it was very melody-like. That conversation she had with Chris was very melody-like. Because now you're talking about, yeah, and don't make me start talking. I'm going to start naming names and I'm going to start dropping tea, and ain't nobody going to like that. Here we go again. Listen. I done already told y'all, and I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody else that watches Love and Marriage Huntsville. I can only speak for myself. But this is what I'm going to say. If you ain't about to drop names, dates, locations, pictures, audio, video, affidavits, and some more shit, I don't care. I don't care. Because y'all have been trying to throw this at these people, at Tisha and Marsau, since season 2. And ain't shit stuck. Now, to be clear, maybe it didn't stick because Tisha ain't entertaining it. But my thing is, y'all gonna have to come better than the lady that Martell brought on. And not because I didn't think that woman was attractive, not because I didn't think that Marsau is a cheater, but you just gonna have to come better than that because it didn't land. One, it didn't land because of Martell's, the way it was presented. The way it was presented made it so that it did not land. I absolutely believe that Tisha and Marsau have had shit in their past. But I also believe that Tisha knows. And Tisha ain't going nowhere. I'm not saying that Tisha knows about every indiscretion, phone call, text, rendezvous. I'm not saying that. But I don't think that Tisha's under any illusion that Marsau has ever cheated on her. They've alluded to it, but people glaze over it. Tisha told us that they had stuff in early on in their marriage and they got past it. She said that. Just because she didn't use the word Marsau cheated on me, she told y'all they had shit early on in their marriage. She just said that they moved on, they got past it, and they're good now. That's all I'm saying. Now, this next scene, and I always feel like I be side with Marsau, but in this next scene, Tisha brings an intimacy coach in. Now, do I believe that Marsau didn't know that lady was coming? I don't know. But Marsau comes home. He acts surprised, like, who is this? Why is this lady in my living room? Why she bring all these whips and chains and handcuffs and shit, right? Marsau goes, he takes a shower, he comes downstairs, and they proceed to have a session with this woman, or it was two women, I believe, that are talking to them about intimacy and where they are. Let me say this. We ain't gonna skip it because I'm gonna tell you why we're not gonna skip it. We ain't gonna get into all of the details, but here's what Tisha. I need you to stop. You brought this woman in, this literacy coach in. And what we found out is you're the one that don't like to be intimate. You're the one that can't give a hug just to say, hey, how was your day, babe? You're the one that can't give a kiss just to say, hey, I missed you today. You're the one that can't say, I love you. We found out you're the one. So you put this woman in here to make it seem like Marsau is the one that can't show intimacy and can't show emotion, only for us to find out that it's you. Hey, Papo, how you doing, boo? It's you. I was confusion. Because I was like, every time that lady said something, Marsau was like, but, and then Tisha says, well, yeah, you're right. I don't do that because that's not, I didn't grow up like that and I wasn't taught that. And, people in my house weren't real affectionate. Then why you ain't bring the intimacy coach in to talk to you? Why didn't you have a session? And if you did, show it to us. Why didn't you have a session with that woman first? And then had the session with Marsau so that you could talk to him about maybe why you don't feel you're not intimate and you're not easy to get to that point. Like, what? Start with yourself, because I feel like you was trying to put that on Marsau, and Marsau flipped that shit on you so quick. Oh, he flipped that thing on you so fast. But I feel like you were trying to make it seem like he's the problem. What was I saying? You said you mean intimacy. What word was I using instead of intimacy? But yeah, I mean intimacy. So then, because Marsau even said, he said, sometimes I just want to cuddle. Sometimes I just want to hug my wife. He said, everything doesn't have to lead to sex. And I feel like you think every time I touch you, I want to have sex, but I don't. Sometimes I just want to spend some quality time alone touching my wife, not sex. And then Tisha was like, yeah, but I mean, what if it leads to that? He said, well, I mean, if it leads to that, it leads to that. I mean, hello, but that's not my intention. I don't want you to feel like every time I touch you, the intent is for us to have sex, because that's not. Then they kind of got off on this conversation about Marsau defending himself and the people talking about him. I was going to say Kimmi. Tisha, how many times this man got to tell you he don't give a fuck? How many times Does this man have to tell you he doesn't care? He doesn't care what these people say about him. And the fact that, and I understand why you care. I do. Listen, it would be hard for me to be on a reality show and see people that I love being drugged the way people drag Marsau. I get it. I do, Tisha. I get it. I really, really do get it. But what I'm also going to say is, in the past 10 seasons, probably 12 years, has that stopped the internet from dragging your husband? Has you coming down here defending your husband, has that ever stopped anybody from saying anything about your husband? And like he told you, he said, look, I don't care, and I need you to stop caring. I need you to stop. So that was pretty much that. So let's get to this last scene that everybody's been talking about. It's been taking over the blogs. It's been sound bites and everything else for the last however many years, weeks, whatever. It was about a week or so. Maurice is a sex addict, period. I mean, I feel like people can dress it up however they want to dress it up. People can say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, Maurice is a sex addict. Now, why Maurice is a sex addict, that's above my pay grade. I didn't go to school for this. I'm not a therapist. I don't know. I don't know. But he is a sex addict. There's absolutely no normal person, and this is my opinion. This is my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is my opinion. Some of y'all might say, nah, I really be. So, everybody's sex drive is different. But here's what I don't believe to be true. Now, y'all can tell me I'm wrong. I do not believe it is normal. And again, I do not believe it is normal for a man to be able to have sex 4 or 5 times a day, every day consecutively for at least the last 12 to 15 years. I just don't think that's normal. I'm sorry. I don't think that's normal. Now, y'all are saying he's not a sex addict. He's just a whore. No, the man is addicted to sex. I'm sorry. Listen, I understand what y'all are saying. Well, he is addicted to sex. Sorry, not sorry. He is addicted to sex. Now, when he was single, yeah, he was a whore. But he was a whore because he was addicted to sex. That man said that he has that since he has started having sex, the longest he's ever gone without having sex is 6 months. And that's only because he thought that he had contracted HIV and he had to wait and get the test results back. That is the only reason why he stopped having sex. And that is the equivalent to me. That is equivalent of an alcoholic being able to stop drinking while they're pregnant, or a drug addict being able to stop doing drugs while they're pregnant. There's something in your mind that allows you to shut it down in that small window of time. And as soon as they have that baby, they right back with a bottle in their hand. The fact that he could stop for 6 months doesn't mean he's not an addict. It means that that something in his brain outweighed the fear of him contracting a deadly disease outweighed that addiction for that small window of time. The fact that your wife who is battling breast cancer, that doesn't stop you from wanting sex 3-4 times a day. I'm sorry, y'all. That's not a hoe to me. That is an addict. That's an addict. Now, why he's an addict, I don't know. Okay, so Xavier said if he was an addict, he wouldn't be able to restrict it to Kimmi. Well, to me, him being a whore, he wouldn't be able to restrict it to Kimmi. I don't know if that's true. Again, I haven't done the research. I don't know. I haven't done the research. I don't know. Kimmi Scott is not an AKA. Kimmi Scott is a Delta. Tisha is an AKA. Kimmi is a Delta. Tisha is an AKA. Again, I don't know the definition of a sex addict, so I can't say that that's true or that's not true. But to me, him being a whore means he wouldn't be able to limit. To me, him being a whore means that he can't limit it to Kimmi. But this is what I'm also gonna say. Oh, I didn't know Maurice was a preacher at one point. I did not know that. Or did I know that? Child, this show been on for so long. Maybe I did know that, and I just don't remember. I don't know. I feel like I didn't know that. This is my opinion. And this is my opinion about the whole thing. Yeah, Symmetry, you know, I've missed some seasons and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. I believe you. I just didn't remember. Baby Girl says sex addiction refers to excessive sexual thoughts, desires, urges, or behaviors that can't be controlled and cause distress and harm to your relationship, finances, and other aspects of your life. Thank you for that definition. I feel like it's causing harm to his relationship. I don't know about the finances part, but it's definitely causing distress. Okay, somebody said he was a deacon, not a preacher. There is a difference, yeah. That's why sex addiction is only theorized and not a formal diagnosis. It's too many variables to determine where the unhealthy part of the addict comes in. Well, so listen, like I said, I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained in this. I'm not diagnosing him. That's just my opinion. I feel like because here's the reality, and all of y'all that have been married or been in long-term relationships, y'all tell me. Y'all know I was the longest relationship I ever been in, I think was 4 years, maybe. Y'all tell me. At a certain point, it seems like, okay, somebody said he was a pastor. Okay, I don't know. I don't remember him saying either one, but I believe y'all. I just don't remember because, again, like I said, y'all know it's been time. I mean, it's been years, so. I mean, I've missed years, you know. Anyway, this is what I'm saying, in my opinion. Well, we don't know if it's limited to Kimmi. The only thing we know is it hasn't been exposed. That's all I'm saying. But moving right along. I don't want to get caught up in that. I hear what y'all are saying, and I respect y'all's opinion on it. I'm saying for me, I feel like he's addicted to sex. I understand that may not be a clinical definition, and I'm not diagnosing him because I'm not a clinician. But I'm going to say this. And that's, I do want to talk about that too, Chrissy. Chrissy said, well, if his dad locked the refrigerator, he traded another addiction obsession for another one. And this is another reason why I'm not a therapist. I didn't go to school for this. I don't understand that. I don't understand how the dad locking the refrigerator and not allowing them to eat food transfer into a sex addiction. I don't understand it. If he was fat, if he had a food problem, if he had an impulse control problem across the board, but I don't understand how that manifested itself into sex. And I heard what the therapist said. He started talking about the nudie, the Playboys and stuff like that. I feel like that's every adolescent child. Like, I didn't see how him and his brothers trading off Playboy magazines and pleasuring themselves is out of the norm for what boys do. I mean, you see what I'm saying? I didn't see how that was any different than what the average boy does or girl. Because they don't talk about that, but girls experiment as well during adolescence, just like boys do. Girls experiment with touching themselves and pleasuring themselves and arousal and all that. Girls do the same shit. So I didn't understand that, but again, I'm from the outside. I'm not a therapist, so I can't speak to it. I just didn't get it. They lost me. That part of the conversation, they lost me. I'm just being honest. They lost me on that part of the conversation. And I understand. So you're saying maybe he had an addictive personality that he traded in food that made. Now, if he said I have an addictive personality, and as a result, I've learned how to control my food addiction, and I think it transferred. Yes, that I would understand. But that's not what they said. They were saying his father locking the refrigerator and stopping them from being able to eat transferred into his not being able to be satisfied with well, I shouldn't say regular, with the sex life that was given. That's where I'm confusion. I'm just being honest. Now, let me tell you something that made me sick to my stomach. I listened to a little bit of Maurice on Carlos King. I couldn't finish it because Maurice was doing that Martin Luther King shit, and I just couldn't sit through it. I couldn't sit through it. But I did sit through it enough to hear this. And I think this is probably when I was like, I'm done. Maurice said, because Claudia was trying to explain to him that Kimmi was trying to tell him that the mental is not there. And if the mental is not there, then she's not enjoying the sex. And that's where part of her issue is because she's no longer enjoying it because she's sort of clocked out mentally. When Maurice said to me, not me, but when Maurice said, that's the part where I'm confused because it feels the same to me. That's what I said. In my opinion, y'all, that's what took me back to this man is just addicted to the act of sex. He's not addicted to his wife. He's not even addicted to feeling good. He is addicted to the act of sex and the release because there's no way on God's green earth that you are going to tell me, even if Kimmi is faking it, even if Kimmi is doing all of the oohs and the ahs in the right place at the right time and doing it the right way, you're not going to sit here and tell me that if he really truly is in tune to his wife, that he doesn't feel there's a difference. You are addicted to the action. You are addicted to the release. And that's why I say you're addicted to the act. Because that doesn't make sense to me. You're not, this woman, and listen, we all have, whether you're a man or a woman, we have all been in a situation. Well, I'm not going to say we all have been. For the people who have been in a situation where you can be mad at your spouse or your significant other, and maybe y'all do end up having some makeup sex, but you ain't quite over it yet. It don't feel the same. It don't get you the same way. When you feel like your husband ain't doing right, or your wife ain't doing right, or your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend ain't doing right, yeah, y'all might still have date night and still end up having sex, but it don't feel the same. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you're having sex with this woman 2 or 3 times a night or a day or whenever, and she is no longer mentally connected to you, and you don't fucking feel a difference. Because if you don't feel a difference, then I'm back at my original statement that you are addicted to the action and the release. You're not addicted to the emotion and all of the things that come with sex. That's my opinion, and that's why I say that. And when they went back and showed all the times that Maurice has been talking about sex, this has been consistent for years. This has been consistent for years. And with that being said, this is where my final thought on this is. Kimmi, stop complaining. And what I mean by that is This is not the first, second, or third time you have had this conversation with him. He's not hearing you. He doesn't want to hear you. He can't hear you. He's not hearing you. Because you've said this and nothing has changed. So either you're going to live with it and you're going to constantly just be available to him whenever he wants to have sex, and you're going to make yourself available to him, or you're going to make some hard decisions. And I wonder if Kimmi, and I'm not saying Kimmi never tells him no, because I'm sure there have been times when Kimmy's been like, no. But I'm sure she doesn't say no as much as she wants to. And I wonder if a part of her is scared to say no. Now, Maurice did say that they have continued with therapy, and I guess they've worked through some other things, I guess. Because just like with Tisha and her office building, this happened many, many months ago, and he said they have continued with the therapy. So for that, I give them kudos. I give them kudos for this not being a one-time thing, or this just not being for the camera. I give him kudos that they stuck with it. But this is what I'm also going to say. This is how men slide in. Kimmi might not be looking for another man. Kimmi might not be looking for an affair. But this is how men slide in. And and maybe y'all can help me. I didn't understand I can lay down longer than you can stand up. I didn't understand that saying. I didn't get it. He said it again on Carlos King, and I just didn't get it. I can lay down longer than you can stand up. I didn't get that saying. And he said he grew up hearing that. Like that was something he grew up hearing. I didn't understand. I don't understand what that means. Pardon my ignorance, but I don't understand what that means. So maybe somebody in the chat can explain it to me, because I don't understand what that means. Right. I mean, you said you grew up hearing it, but I don't understand, like, in what context and what, I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand that. Symmetry said it's a ridiculous statement. I've never heard of it, and I grew up in Detroit. Yeah, I don't know if it's I've just never heard of it. Meaning a woman can lay down longer than a man's blank can stay hard. Oh, I was thinking about literally standing up, not his member. Oh, God. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay, got it. Thank you, Tracy. Now I got it. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, I got it now. Ooh, okay. 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 I get it now. I really thought he literally meant stand up, but you mean his member standing up. Okay. Well, in that case, generally, that is generally a true statement. A woman generally can lay down longer than a man can last. That's generally, but I still think that's a fucked up thought process. I still think that's a really fucked up thought process. The correct saying is that a woman can look up longer than a man can look down. Well, now that don't make no sense to me now. Now I'm back at where I started, because that shit don't make no sense to me either. Thank you, Auntie Kimmi. I didn't know. That don't make no sense to me either. But I'm going to say the same thing about this that I say about other things. At a certain point, stop. Kimmi, I hear you, girl, and I know you love that man and you want to be with that man, but at the end of the day, what they say, let that man cheat in peace. I mean, the man has been this way. Clearly, they showed they gave us clearly this man has been this way. He ain't changing. He ain't doing nothing different. So I don't know what you want from us. Because he's looking. I get the looking down part, but I still don't understand. I mean, the other one makes more sense to me. His member being standing up. That makes more sense. Oop, not that tells me that Maurice is a quick shooter. And maybe that's why Kimmi can grin and bear it. Because if it ain't going to last for 5 minutes, I mean, hell. And I wonder how much energy he puts into all the other aspects. Like, how much energy, Maurice, do you put into the forceps? You know, like, what do you do before the actual insertion? I mean, how long do y'all kiss, touch, lick, suck? Like, oh, are we just bam, 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 open your legs, let me get in, and I'm done? Because if that's the case, I guess that, I mean, you know. Hey, Couture, how you doing, boo? I don't think he does either. Anyway, y'all, that was it. I know it took me a long time. My apologies. Wait a minute. Today is my parents' wedding anniversary. My mother just sent me a picture. Where'd they go eat? Ooh, they went to the prime rib. Okay, prime rib. All right. They went to a nice little steakhouse for dinner. Mm-hmm. All right. With that being said, y'all, we about to head on over to the main channel. We're getting ready to go live over there. It's not going to be a long live, like I said at the beginning of this live. I don't have a lot to talk about, number one. And number two, I got a few things I got to get done. Y'all know I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'm leaving straight from work and going to the airport. So when I leave my house in the morning, I got to wash my dishes, take out my trash. I'm packed, but I need to double check, make sure, and I need to charge up my devices and get my my carry-on bag together with my devices. I got to, well, not really my device. I just got to charge up my tablet. Matter of fact, I can charge my tablet. I'm gonna get my tablet in a minute and have that charged up, so when I go to bed tonight, I can put it in the bag. With that being said, you guys, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace. I do have the redirect on, so y'all don't have to do nothing. If y'all are planning to come to the tribe meeting, just hang tight. It's going to directly take y'all over there. All right? Okay.